Governor Chea, I'm sure you've heard this as much as I do. Many Western commentators say that Cambodia is, quote unquote, too reliant on China economically, pointing out that China holds nearly half of Cambodia's national debt, as well as the ever-increasing Chinese investment in your country. What will be your response?
Look, as an economist and a trained accountant, I will speak from the number that I have in front of me and not on perception. If you look at the government public debt, Cambodia government public debt, it stands at about 32% of our GDP, and that is well below the threshold set by the IMF. And of course, of the 32%, 45% of the debt is owed to China. But this is a small percentage. Second of all, if you look at investment in China investment in ASEAN, which stand at $14.3 billion in 2020, Cambodia received $1.2 billion. That is less than 8% of the total investment. So to term us as too reliant, I think it's a bit exaggerated. But let's be fair, that Cambodia is a country that has been ravaged by war. The government role is to develop the country, to create jobs for our people, to reduce poverty, and therefore we welcome investment from any country, from any development partner. And we did receive investment from other countries as well. I mean, in the 90s and the year 2000, we received a lot of assistance from our development partners, the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, but we also received assistance from the United Kingdom, from the United States, from Malaysia and other South Korea and Japan. But in the last 10 years, we've seen, China investment and developmental assistance taking over those countries. But it's not over to reliant at the moment. And again, as our Prime Minister mentioned, we still welcome whoever want to come to Cambodia. The country is opened. The Cambodia-China relationship went back to long time ago. Actually, if you have been to one of our temples, or actually many temples, you will see depictions of trade between the Khmer people and the Chinese people back then. And in fact, one of the famous explorers from China, Wang Guan, made his journal, was one of the most important witnessing of the life in the kingdom back in the 12th century. And as you also mentioned out, the relationship between our kings, late King Sihanouk and late Premier Chu Enlai in the 60s has also strengthened that relationship. And you're rightly pointing out about the term strong as steel Cambodia-China relationship. We've had bilateral trade with China in 2020. Just to give you some number, trade between the two countries reached about $8.2 billion and we expect it to expand to $10 billion in 2023. In terms of investment, we've had about $2.7 billion from China in 1929. We've also had a lot of developmental assistance from the government of China, particularly in building infrastructure and in the sector of energy and mining. But we've had this China-Cambodia free trade agreement. Hopefully it will be going into full force in 2022, and we look forward to see more relationship between the two countries.